Hello everyone, Brandon Marcello here, Jackson Clarion-Ledger, here in actually in the media room after Mississippi State's 70-68 loss to Georgia in overtime. Everybody seems to be gone now, but I'm still here working a little bit, and just want to break down the game with you like I do after every Mississippi State basketball game. Very disappointing loss, obviously, if you're a Mississippi State fan, even more so if you're a Mississippi State player, but Rick Stansbury warned his team, warned the media, warned everybody after that 70-60 win against Ole Miss on Thursday night that there could be a letdown, and you can't have an emotional or letdown with your energy as well. And that's what happened Saturday for Mississippi State. This game against Georgia really had no rhythm to it. Georgia was getting all the offensive rebounds it wanted. In fact, they finished with 18. State only had 7. Arnett Moultrie, even though he had 12 points, was a non-factor. He had 6 rebounds, but in my eyes, he was a non-factor. When they fed the ball to him, it was knocked away, or when the ball was fed to him, he was kicking it back out. Just couldn't get anything going. Renardo Sidney probably had the better day, actually. Had 10 points and 12 rebounds, first double-double of the season, but I think it kind of tells you how the game went. Renardo Sidney had the better game in the front court. They don't need that. They need Arnett Moultrie to be the guy scoring the points. But hey, give Georgia some credit here because Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, McDonald's All-American out of high school, the first one ever in Georgia history, came in here and just shot lights out, 6 for 12 beyond the arc, and he hit that three-pointer with a little over a minute remaining in overtime that proved to be pretty much the game winner. They ended up knocking off, a couple more free throws there later to ice the game, but Caldwell-Pope just kept hitting shots. Mississippi State would fire back mostly. I mean, Jalen Steele had 4 3-pointers. He's been on a tear here lately, but State just had no rhythm, and they couldn't stop Georgia defensively. And I think as much as we will focus on those final 8 seconds in overtime, when Georgia missed a free throw, State comes up the court, has a chance to tie it or win it. In fact, they were trying to win it with a D-Boss three-pointer. A lot of people are going to question why did they take a timeout there. Well, Rick Stansbury thought that they could catch Georgia off guard a little bit in transition, and maybe they could be able to get a quick layup or a three-pointer. Well, they got neither. They shot a three-pointer and missed. Just like regulation ended. Jalen Steele missed a three-pointer that would have won it for Mississippi State. They just could not hit the big shots today. There was no energy level. And the big thing that you'll see in the Clarion-Ledger, and you'll hear a lot about it, I mean, fans are obviously upset because this is the 20th ranked team in the nation, Mississippi State. Georgia came in at 2-7 in the SEC, one of the worst teams in the SEC along with South Carolina. They came in here, shot lights out, and State had a chance here to cap their 3-game homestand with a third straight win, something they hadn't done since December, and they didn't do it. And there was just so many moments in this game where State could have taken over. There was a span there for 7 minutes late in the second half where State did not hit a shot. Georgia didn't really do anything either. They were only able to manage a 55-53 advantage there to take a lead, but State at that point was doing well on defense, and their offense just wasn't clicking. If their offense had any semblance of a rhythm during that 7-minute stretch, if they were able to get a few baskets, I think State wins this game. I think, in fact, they probably win it by 5 or 10 points. But they couldn't score in that 7-minute stretch, and those are the times when you have to step up and make shots. State didn't do that. Whether it was energy level, motivation, whatever, they just couldn't do it. And then, like I said, that's a big thing that D. Boss talked about, Arnett Moultrie talked about after the game, so did Rick Stansbury, that when you look on the schedule and you see Georgia's name on there, it's almost like human instinct to not take them seriously. But that's a problem if that is a if that's what you're thinking in your head. Oh, we can beat these guys. You have to get your energy level up. Basketball, as short of a turnaround as it was, less than 48 hours after beating Ole Miss on Thursday night to come back here on a Saturday at 12:30, as short a turnaround that is, these basketball players are equipped and built to be able to do those type of turnarounds. I do think that there was maybe some lack of motivation, as they said. When you look at that record, they mentioned it, they talked about it, they admitted it. But you can't do that. You just can't do that if you want to be a championship team. The result, Mississippi State will likely be knocked out of the polls after 12 straight weeks in the polls, and now they got to do a little bit more work to up their NCAA tournament resume. Their RPI took a little bit of a hit. They're down about 45th right now, depending on how the other games will go this weekend. So they have to win. And now looking ahead, gets so much tougher. They have to go on the road to LSU on Tuesday. Then they have to go on the road to Auburn on Saturday. Those two teams don't have great records either, but they've played State close at home already here at Humphrey Coliseum. And if you look at it on paper, I would not be surprised if LSU's favored in that game Tuesday. Maybe Auburn won't, but State, if it wants to keep things going and improve, they've got to split those road series. If they can win both, that would be great. But all of a sudden, I was sitting here, we're sitting courtside after that game against Ole Miss, where State just looks so impressive. It became quite apparent early Saturday here that they left everything they had on the court against Ole Miss, and they didn't have anything today against Georgia. They have to keep it as an even keel. And the players said that was a game you had to circle and look at and say that's how we have to play the rest of the way to be special, and they didn't do it Saturday. So worrisome or not, it's a loss. They have to build off it and figure some things out. They're 19-6, 6-4. They still have a chance to have a great season. It's just one loss, but it'll be interesting to see how this team responds Tuesday at LSU. Always a tough place to play for Mississippi State, and we saw LSU almost came back and knocked off State here earlier in the season. So much more to come in Clarion-Ledger Sunday, as always, and we'll be in Baton Rouge Tuesday on Valentine's Day for the 8 o'clock tip. So make sure and join me there. Follow me on Twitter at @bmarcello. Pick up the Clarion-Ledger and visit us at clarionledger.com.